Welcome to the final installment of my 4-part series on how to solve a Rubik's Cube. In the last part, I said that I'd be doing the entire third layer in the same video, but I decided that the video would be too long, so I separated the third layer into 2 parts. So in this second part of the third layer, I'll be showing you steps 6 and 7, and in the last part I showed you steps 4 and 5. So in step 6, all you need to do is rotate the corners until they're in the correct position. And then from there, in step 7, you'll just rotate the corners until they're on the top face, thus solving the cube. So in the 6th step, there are 3 cases that you'll get. You'll get, similarly to the last 2 steps, you'll get one where all of the corners are already in the correct position, which is the goal of the other 2 cases. So as you can see, you have green, red, yellow, blue, red, yellow. They're all in the right place, so all you need to do is flip them onto the correct face, and then you'll solve it, or then it'll be solved. So the more common case of the 2 that we'll actually need to apply the algorithm for is the one where you have one corner in the correct place and none other corners in the correct place. They need to be rotated. When you perform the algorithm, you'll put it to where the correct corner is in the bottom right hand side of where you're going to apply it, and then the corners will rotate, preserving that corner. So the algorithm is up, right, up inverted, left inverted, up, right inverted, up inverted, left. And by doing that, we've taken all of the edges and rotated them once. So as you can see, none of them, it's basically just what you saw before, but in reality, all you did was flip, or you just transferred this corner to this spot and this one to this spot, and they're still not in the correct place. You might need to apply it twice, which is what I'm going to have to do here, but most of the time I only have to do it once. So we'll just do that again. Up, right, up inverted, left inverted, up, right inverted, up inverted, left. So there we have it. All 4 corners in the correct position. The second case is where you have none of them in the correct position. And if that happens, all you'll need to do is just do it on one random corner. So we've taken those corners and just moved them to where there's only one in the correct place. And then you'll do it again with the corner that's already solved in the bottom right. And then all of the corners will become in the correct positions. And not all of them will be flipped onto the top face where yellow's up. And so that's what we'll need to do in the second step of this tutorial. A trick to memorizing the algorithm URUILI, URIUIL is that URUL repeats twice, but the first time the inverted are the last 2, and the second time inverted are the middle 2. So that's how I started to memorize the algorithms, and you'll get to tricks like that on your own. You can do whatever you want, but you can look at it and then just come up with some tricks to memorize it. So the 7th step, don't be intimidated by the number of cases there are, because you only need to learn one algorithm, and it's pretty much the same for every single one. You'll do the same thing except for just a different number of times. So don't worry about the cases. I'll just show them to you so that you're not confused when you see it. So the algorithm is right inverted, right, down. And in this step, you'll just need to use just a little bit more of your brain, because you won't just put the corner where it needs to be and do the algorithm once. You'll need to do it multiple times, no matter what. Because for every corner, you'll need to do that algorithm at least once. And you'll always have it to where there are 2 corners that need to be flipped. So the case is that these 2 are where 2 corners need to be flipped up to the yellow face, and these 2 are where 3 corners need to be flipped, and this one is where all 4 need to be flipped. So you'll just do the algorithm multiple times, and you'll just start anywhere, and the corner that you'll start on needs to be in the bottom right hand side, just like in the last step. But this time we'll do it multiple times. So I'll start this one. I guess I'll start with one that has 2. This one is where there's 1 here, and then there's 1 diagonally from it. So just test out the algorithm to start. So the algorithm is right inverted, down inverted, right, down. And by doing that, it looks like you've messed up the cube, but make sure that you keep it right where it was. And then just try doing the algorithm one more time. Right, inverted, down, inverted, right, down. And then the corner becomes solved. And then once you're at that point, you notice you still have the cube messed up. So just don't worry, hang around. And just turn the top face as many number of times as you need until the corner is right where you started for the first time. So just do that again. Right inverted, down inverted, right, down. You might need to do it again. Right inverted, down inverted, right, down. And then you might need to do it 3 times. Right, inverted, down inverted, right, down. Right inverted, down inverted, right, down. So you might need to do it just multiple times, and then the cube will become solved. So if that was your case, then congratulations, you've solved the Rubik's Cube for the first time. Or maybe not the first time, but whatever. So the second case that has to do with 2 corners is this one where there are 2 next to each other. So you'll do the same thing, put one in the bottom right hand corner, and do the algorithm. This is what it looks like when you just keep doing it over and over again. And then you make sure that you always do the last down, even when the yellow corner is up. You might notice I had this problem. When the yellow corner becomes solved, you're like, ooh, the corner's solved, I don't need to do anything else. But you need to make sure that the bottom corner has that last down move. And then you'll just turn it until there's one in the right place. And you can do it as one continuous motion like I just did. But you can stop just to make sure that you're doing it right. That's the end of one, and then you do it one more time. And then you'll just, in this case, need to rotate it, the top, until it's solved. So those are just the 2 cases that have to do with 2 corners that need to be flipped. And then this one's the first case for 3, which you'll need to do it right inverted, down inverted, right, down, right inverted, down inverted, right, down. And then you'll just do it for the other 2 corners. Flip it, and it's solved. So it's the same for this other case, except for there's just more moves, because in the last case, you remember the yellow was on this side instead of this side. So when you move it down, instead of being on this side, which is just a shorter number of moves, means they'll just need to do it a few more times. So you'll eventually get this fast in doing it. This is not too fast, but it's all one continuous motion, is what I'm trying to say. So the last case is where there's just 4 corners that need to be flipped. And it looks pretty intimidating, but you just need to make sure that you know where you're at all times. Don't just do it all at once so that you don't get lost, because it's easy to get lost when you've just messed up the entire cube after you've solved, or you've gotten this far. So put one at random this time. Anyone that's solved at random, you can do it anytime, and then do it again. And then there's 1 corner, and then you just do the last 3 corners. And then your cube will become solved. So hopefully you've solved your cube, and congratulations if you have. In this next part of this video, I'll be going over the steps all at once so that you're not as confused as you would be if you had to go back to the other videos. So I'll put the steps in a row, so stick around, and then you'll understand what to do just a little bit more. This is the overview part of the video where I'll be showing you the steps to solving a cube so that you'll know the order, and you'll just have a better understanding of what order to do the things in, so that even if you do memorize all the stuff, that you get the basic, the order of how you solve it. So starting with the first step is to solve the white cross on the first side. And then you have to make sure that the centers are matched up with the edges. The second step is to put the white corners on the white side and still keeping the centers matched up with each of the sides. The third step is to get the second layer completely solved along with the first, which means taking the 4 edge pieces and putting them between the centers. The fourth step is to solve for the yellow cross on the third side. It doesn't matter where the edges are, just make sure that you have a yellow cross on the third side. So the fifth step is to take those edges on the yellow cross and match them up with each of the correct sides. The sixth step is to take the corners that you put, just take the corners of the yellow side and turn them or move them so that they are in the correct position in correspondence with the sides that they're in between. And then this will result in a solved cube after turning each of the corners. So hopefully you can remember or just take into consideration the order of the steps so that you won't have to go back to the other videos. So I'll have all of the algorithms in the description, so if you want to write them all down so that you'll have them, and then you can memorize them from there, then you can go ahead and do that. Other than that, thanks for watching my series, and have a good time solving a cube and impressing your friends and family.